Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to teach you all that you need to know about medical malpractice. So if you've been injured by a doctor or hospital, or a loved one has been injured and you've come across my video, you're in the right place. Probably the medical profession has left you in the dark. Your life has been turned upside down. You have no answers. You have no idea what happened. You don't even know what to do next. So what are you doing? You're going through the internet, you're going through social media, you're trying to learn about medical malpractice. You see lawyers everywhere, you don't know who to call, and you don't know who to trust. Meanwhile, your medical bills are piling up, you may not be able to go back to work, and you can't do the things that you used to enjoy doing. Hi, my name's Frank Spector. I've been a medical malpractice lawyer for over 33 years. During that time, I've helped, let's say, thousands of people get the compensation and justice they deserved. But what separates me apart from other lawyers is that I take the time to listen to you. So hey, get this. If you call or if you fill out a contact form on my website, guess who's going to call you back? Me. I'm going to take the time to listen to you. I'm going to give you the time to tell me your story. I'm going to explain to you the process, and I'm going to give you the best advice that I can. Now, I can only do that one-on-one when people call, but I want to use this platform, these videos, to be able to answer the questions that I have with people one-on-one every day and help you so that you can have the benefit of my experience. So let's get right to it. So what's medical malpractice? A lot of people get confused about this, and they want to make it confusing because medical malpractice is really no different than the term negligence. And those of us who may be more familiar with cases like car accidents or hurt on the job cases understand, let's say you were driving and you were stopped at a stoplight and someone wasn't paying attention and rammed right into you. Well, we would know that that person who rammed into you was negligent. They weren't doing what they were supposed to do. They weren't abiding by the rules of the road. Well, that's no difference in medical malpractice. It's really medical negligence. It means a doctor wasn't following the appropriate rules of medicine. A doctor wasn't doing what they're supposed to do. So that's what medical malpractice is. It doesn't mean that a doctor did something on purpose. Doesn't mean that they did something recklessly. And I've done lots of videos on what medical malpractice is, but I wanted to put all this together today in one video so that I could help you understand what the process is all about. Now, I want to let you know about a secret ingredient that a lot of lawyers don't tell you about that has to go into a medical malpractice case. But first, if you like this video, please hit that subscribe and like button because you can take advantage of all of my videos. Okay, so that secret ingredient is called permanent injury. That means that a case not only has to have the medical mistake part, but it also has to have the permanent injury part. Now, I've talked to hundreds of people who have medical mistakes committed upon them, but they don't have permanent injury. And unfortunately, I have to tell them that I can't help them. Why is that? Because in a medical malpractice case, the case costs are so expensive. Let me give you an example. It can cost at least $100,000, maybe more, for any medical malpractice case. Now, the more complicated the medical malpractice, the more expensive it gets. So anytime that I'm considering a case, I have to make sure that we're not spending more on the case than the case is worth. I've had to deliver that disappointing news to people all the time. But that's the reality of medical malpractice, because remember, the powers that be, especially the insurance company, they don't want medical malpractice cases to be inexpensive. They want them to be expensive. They don't want to pay out claims to people if they don't have to. So permanent injury is a necessary ingredient in a medical malpractice case. And unfortunately, if you don't have that, then more than likely, I'm not going to be able to take the case. But the good news is, so if you don't have permanent injury, the likelihood of a case being successful is really quite low. Step 2 is getting all the medical records. Now, I'll tell you, in some cases, lawyers will tell you to go get the medical records yourself. I don't do that. I don't ask you to go do something you've hired us to do. So we're going to get those medical records for you. We're going to look at the medical records. Now, what's the most important step in being able to put together a medical malpractice case is being able to get another doctor to come into court and to say that what your doctor did was wrong. And we call that a medical expert. But really what that is a practicing doctor who is willing to come into court and to say that what your doctor did was wrong. Now, here's the reality. Do you think that any doctor in Maryland is going to come testify against one of their own colleagues? Well, if you answered that they wouldn't, you're exactly right, because they're not going to do that at all. They're not going to testify against their own. So we have to go out of state. And we have to get a doctor who practices in the same specialty as the doctor that we're suing. So if it's a surgical case, we have to get a surgeon who has experience in the surgery that you had, and that person becomes a medical expert. Now, if the doctor says that there has been a medical mistake and then they're willing to testify in the case, then we have 2 thumbs up. That means we can go forward. A lawsuit is we bring the lawsuit. Once the doctor gives us the thumbs up, we're ready for step 3, which means we can bring the lawsuit. Common question that I get is, well, where does the lawsuit get filed? Well, in most cases, the case gets filed where the medical malpractice case happened. So if you're watching this video and you live in Baltimore County, but the medical malpractice happened in Baltimore City, you bring the lawsuit in Baltimore City because that's where it happened. And once the lawsuit is filed, then there's a lot of work that needs to be done between the beginning of the case and the end of the case. Another question people ask me is, how long does a medical malpractice case take? Well, honestly, it takes somewhere between 18 months and 24 months. Yeah, all the way up to 2 years. Why? Well, there's 2 reasons. The first reason is there's so much work that has to be done in a case that it takes a lot of time to get that work done. Number 2, medical malpractice cases can take a week, maybe more. So the court dockets are very busy. So these kind of cases take a lot of court time. So they have to be scheduled way in advance so that the court is available. So after all that work is done, the case will end one of 2 ways. Either there's going to be a settlement that you agree upon, or there's going to be a jury trial where a jury decides whether or not the doctor was responsible and how much money you should get. We'll decide whether the doctor was responsible and how much money you can get. All right, now with all that said, I want to talk to you about a couple of statistics. Do you realize that 98,000 people are harmed by medical errors each year? And only a fraction of those call a lawyer and bring some kind of medical malpractice case. So you can imagine how much medical malpractice is happening. So if this has happened to you, I want you to know that you're not alone. There are so many people that have had medical mistakes committed upon them and their lives have been changed forever. But many of those people never call. They never give themselves the opportunity to hold the medical establishment accountable and to get compensation for themselves. Look, we can't turn back the hands of time. Any lawyer, even me, I wish I could go back and make this. We can't turn back the hands of time. Look, I wish I had the power to go back in time and make the doctors do the right thing so that you weren't injured. But as we know, that's not possible. What I try to do is help you hold the medical establishment accountable for these medical mistakes. Because if we don't hold them accountable, they're just going to keep getting away with it over and over and over again. I've seen so many times the same doctors getting sued over and over and over again for the same thing because people don't want to stand up and hold them responsible. So if you've come to the end of this video, which I hope you have, I did promise you some free resources. So I want you to go to my website. It's frankspectorlaw.com. I'm going to leave my website link below. On that website, I've taken the time to put together so much information about medical malpractice. It's free. You don't have to pay for anything. Just go there, spend as much time as you like on my website. There you're going to find medical articles. You're going to find lots of videos just like this. It's going to answer a lot of your most common questions about medical malpractice. They're going to be different topics, a little bit more in depth than what we talked about here. And that's free to you, and I invite you to come to my website. Again, that's frankspectorlaw.com. And finally, if you have been injured and you're watching this video and you want to talk to me, please leave your information below in the comments, leave your email address and your phone number, and like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm going to call you back directly. I'm going to take the time to listen to your story. I really appreciate you watching this video. I hope that you found it. Thanks again for watching my video. The most important thing is I hope that you found it informative and helpful. And if you like this video, please leave your comments below. And I'm going to tell you something that many lawyers won't tell you. If you didn't like this video, if you thought it was too long, you thought it was too boring, you thought there was questions that I didn't get to, leave that below too. I'm open to feedback because my intent is to make the best videos for you. Things that you want to watch, information that you want to know about in a way that makes sense for you. So thanks again. I look forward to seeing you again on a future video. Take care.